Tym Moss. Look at you today.
Hey, how are you?
I am fabulous, and I do love what you're wearing. Tell me about that boa.
Well, actually, I'm packing, and this is part of my outfit for Saturday night. So I just thought I would throw that on.
And Tim, every time I talk to you, you're packing. Now
Yeah,
you're going down to Florida to do your show in Wilton Manor.
But firstly, welcome to If These Walls Could Talk.
Yes.
With your hosts. I'm Tym Moss.
I'm Wendy Stuart, and you all know who we are at this point because y'all tune in every week, and thank you.
Uh-huh.
You notice I said y'all because you're going to Florida.
Oh, yes, I'm going down south. But yet I don't know anyone in Fort Lauderdale that says y'all. But yeah, Ike Cavelli and I had just got out. Like 2 weeks ago, we were in Rhode Island, in Providence, and in Massachusetts. And then last weekend, I think we were in Boise, Idaho, and then with a stop in Vegas, in Las Vegas. And now I'm full steam ahead. I'm taking my one-man cabaret show down to Wilton Manors. I will be taking it to the pub in Wilton Manors, which is right in the middle of Fort Lauderdale, this Saturday, August 13th at 7 p.m. So tell everybody you know in Fort Lauderdale to come out at 7 p.m.
They should probably get there at 20 to 7 so they can have a cocktail, because it's always better to enjoy a performance when you've had a cocktail or two.
Yeah, I look and sound better after a couple of cocktails.
And don't we all? Well, I want to tell everybody, up and coming this Friday night, I'm doing the red carpet for this amazing show that we're going to celebrate Richard Quinones, his brand new line of clothing. We've got a runway show. It's being produced by New York Model Society. I'm the spokesperson. I will be interviewing everybody and anybody on the red carpet. So if you want to come to the show, you must be on my guest list or our very celebrated guest, Nick Lyon, because it's Nick's birthday. Yay! That's right. It's that the Nick Lyon birthday extravaganzas. So we knew he was coming. We baked a cake. If you want to come, either get in touch with Nick or get in touch with me. And we can all thank Robert Sosa, the infamous Robert Sosa, who's really been producing some incredible events, for our community, and very well attended. So love to see all of your gorgeous faces there. Tim, I have to tell you this. I don't know, because I know you were in the Midwest, but you know I'm like a real freak for country fairs. I love the sheep judging contest. So I went to the Sussex County Fair in New Jersey this weekend. Oh my God, the chickens. I'm into the chickens. Yeah. Tim, did you ever think how many different kinds of chickens there are? Does anyone ever think of this?
There are a lot of different chickens. Yeah, I grew up in Indiana, and actually my mother worked helping to gather eggs at a chicken place.
Did she really?
Yeah, when I was a kid, yeah. I actually got my finger stuck in one of the conveyor belts one time and had to squashed and stuff. It's still really weird, but
you still have a scar from. I thought
he was a bump. It's like
I figured you said you got bit by a rooster. Roosters are they're well. He's been bit by a rooster, but not in a poultry sense.
Yes, right.
Oh, that was a bad joke. Oh, my guest is groaning next to me.
But now, actually, this top that I'm wearing, this silver lame, was given to me by Nick Lyon.
I remember when he got it for you.
And I'm also wearing it as trying to be sexy for our guests too. So, but tell me about your county fair.
Oh, so there was sheep judging contests.
Oh,
and, you know what? I have to tell you, I'm partial to the sheep because I know this term I'm going to use is not correct, but in order to keep the fleece all beautiful and clean, they kind of have like a head covering, which is a place for their eyes, and then they're wearing something over them. I asked one of the people, I said, what do you call that? No one has a name for it. It is a sheep burqa. It is actually like where I called it a burqa. I came up with it. You know, I'm always making up names, but it is because You have to be covered, right? And you only see the eyes. But the reason they have to be wearing these is for the judging, because they stay all nice and clean. Because let's face it, once they're not wearing their covering, they're laying down in the pen and they get hay all over it. I hate when that happens.
Yeah.
Don't you hate when you get hay all over yourself and all kinds of other grime? And of course the cows. I always use cows are great photo ops. Because, you can always look so animated, and a cow always looks like a cow. They do. They're like, what's going on behind your eyes? No, but now that's like I just said cows are dumb. I did not mean that, Tim. I didn't mean that at all. Because I'm sure behind every cow there is a brain thinking about when they're going to be milked next. No,
I guess. Well, that's what I'm always thinking. But
and right. The rides. The other thing with the country fair, the rides. I got to go on. Okay,
yes.
I hate having to confess this, but I know I can tell everybody this. I'm afraid of the big rides. The ones that turn you upside down inside.
Oh, I love those.
Floor drops out of. Mama, don't do those. I do the kitty rides. Every time I got on, I could hear my knees cracking, right? Because they're for kitties, and I was like walking like a pretzel after that. But I
was at a water park the other day. When I was in Indiana last month visiting my nieces, and they had one that did a loop upside down and out. And what you do is you get in, and it's almost like a little space capsule where there's the floor, and you step inside this tube, and it closes, and then it'll go 3, 2, 1, and the floor drops, and it just drops you straight down, and you go down upside down through this loop and out the other side.
How fast do you think you're going?
Loved it. It was amazing.
And then you splash when you get to the bottom.
Yeah, then you get to there's a
how fast do you think you were going? Did they tell you? Fast.
How
fast was it? It was really fast. And of course,
as fast as gravity will take me.
There you go. And you had to keep your arms in really tight.
You have to do this. Cross your arms and keep your legs crossed too, and just go with it.
How's that for you, Tim Moss, keeping your legs crossed?
That was difficult. Yes. It took. Let's just say super glue was involved.
So, I would imagine. Well,
but anyway, you are watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss. And now coming back, we're going to be talking to our guest, the one and only Jack Tracy. So
yay! So our guest today is a self-proclaimed hypothetical white baby of Prince and Janet Jackson. You know what? I took that from his bio. It's really
I love that.
But you know what? We're going to be talking about Prince and Janet Jackson, how they influenced our amazing recording artists and activists, and you know what? So much more. So I want you all to meet the one and only Jack Tracy.
Yay! Materializing into camera.
Materializing. There. I thought you were like swimming on because of all this talk about water parks.
I wanted to do the Wayne's World, like.
Right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here with us today. In a lot of the advertising I sent out about you, to me, you just exploded everywhere. Like it's like I maybe it's because of the pandemic, because I know you've been working on stuff, but now Jack Tracy is everywhere.
I'm certainly trying to be. No, that's exactly right. After we started getting released from, I won't say the end of the pandemic, because it's still something we have to worry about. It's still something we have to pay attention to. But the lockdown, I'll say, once that ended, I went through a lot of things in my life during that pandemic, like a lot of us did. And one of the things I really said to myself is when I stepped outside again, it was like, oh, we're doing this. We're doing this unapologetically. We're chasing every opportunity. We're using every minute of every day to go chase this thing. So I am very happy to say I've materialized a lot of performance opportunities, some thanks to Wendy. Just continuing to chase the dream.
I love it. But you know what? In your case, it's not such a dream, because like when I, did all your backstory, you've been at it, okay? And you've been, my God, singles. You've got your new album coming out in the fall, Gold, right? How did all this manifest for you because you have a background in law.
And I still am a lawyer. So
call 1-800-JTRACY.
Have you been injured in a car accident?
He's going to get you buco bucks. Okay, sorry about that.
Wait, I was saying to someone the other day, I will never forget. Hold on, wait. Salino and Barnes in 100-888-888-888. So the way it happened, I was like a musical theater major, and that's what I did in college. And
where did you go to school?
Where did you go to? Where?
Penn State.
Oh, okay.
So as part of the musical theater program, I quickly didn't feel like I really fit in with that crowd as much as I liked doing it. And I kind of got the sense I was being trained to be like the best tap dancer on a cruise line, which wasn't like what I wanted to do with my life.
Right.
So I was also very much an academic. And so I kind of just changed course and went into academics. That led to law school. And then I kind of had a crisis at 30 where I realized the entire purpose of my life was to help banks and hedge funds stay rich. And I couldn't do that anymore.
That was the kind of law you were doing.
Yeah, I was like at the big law firms. And like,
well, again, I'm sure that's good money in that.
Amazing money.
Amazing money, but they own you. Like there's no time for anything else.
Exactly.
14-hour days every day forever.
But it's your dimension, Jack. I mean, you just brought up, the arts, that you could do that and get a law degree. It makes it sound like so easy.
Well, so what happened was I had to walk away from the law firm to be able to do all of this. So I'm still an attorney. I don't practice, but I'm an executive for a tech firm that makes products for lawyers. So I'm like the inside guy. So that's what I do, and it's a much less time intensive job.
Of course.
And then I can use my free time. So it all started with my web series History because I went through a bad breakup and I wrote that about that. And I needed music for it. So I learned how to make my own music. And then I was like, well, maybe I want to do an album. And everything just sort of spawned from there.
Wow. And it's okay. I love that it spawned from a bad breakup. Now, the song is Daddy Made It.
That's one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, right. How many of us really what is the best way to go to the person that screwed you over? Come out with a fabulous song and a fabulous video. It was very film noir that you did.
And that exactly was what I said to the DP. That's exactly what I wanted.
Right. Yeah. Right. And do we think the ex saw this?
I don't care.
Good.
Right. Tim says right.
No, that's good because you don't make it for your ex, you make it for yourself.
Sure. Exactly. I know, but it's such sweet revenge to know that, like, you accomplished something to that level.
And then if he does watch it, better yet.
Right. Thank you, Tim, because revenge is sweet. Come on.
I'm a Star Trek fan, and the old Klingon proverb is revenge is a dish best served cold.
Oh, revenge is a dish best served cold. Oh, I like that. That is extremely
well. I'm not petty at all. I just think about the future and only positive vibes.
Right, positive vibes. Kumbaya, my love, kumbaya. No, listen, we're right there with you. So,
now, firstly, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful and very handsome guest Jack Tracy.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So, in Penn State, you're very popular now. Okay. I'm going to say it. Jack has the package, the brain. It's true. No, but we have to talk about things like that. This is a business of marketability. You know, you look good.
And the butt. You got the butt for it.
He is.
It makes an appearance in a lot of things because
it does. Yes.
Tim can count. Anytime you made that appearance.
And I say bravo.
Bravo. But you got the whole package going on. Did you realize that when you said, because you said you felt different from the theater department when you were there, did you realize that was part of it, that you knew you were going to be going in a different direction?
Not at all. And it's very funny because the way I present, people seem to think that I'm an extrovert, which I'm very much not. After this, I'm gonna have to lay in a dark room and recharge. Like I am, but I can present well, and that I present as if I have all the confidence in the world. And my days are very much second guessing myself. I was not popular in college. I was drummed out of the musical theater department. I didn't know what, I lost a lot of my confidence in college. I felt like a lot of my life has been trying to get back to who I was as a child, which was A+ student, super confident. I'm gonna be president. Like that's who I was. What's her name? Reese Witherspoon character from Election. Yeah, I was a little like her. Right. And Reese Witherspoon. I really got the world really kicked my ass for. Can I swear? Sorry.
Yeah, you can.
The world really kicked my ass for a while, and I feel like, especially after pandemic, it's been like, no. We need to go back to the start.
Good.
How do you feel about that? Going back to the start.
It's always good to go back.
Made me angry. How do you feel? Yeah.
It's always good to go back to the beginning sometimes to just refresh and reboot.
So, I mean, as always happens in my life, when one thing happens, 10 things happen. So you've got massive, horrible breakup, moved out of my apartment. And when I say horrible, I mean like police, like horrible.
Oh, did we get a restraining order?
Against me. And
we love restraining orders. Right. Okay, go on.
Then pandemic, I have to move. I move out of Manhattan, which at the time felt like a real step back because I'd worked so hard to like get to a point to live there. And actually, I love where I live way better than any place I've ever lived in Manhattan. Yeah. So it ended up for the best, but I didn't know that at the time. Then the pandemic hits and closes everything down. Then I get laid off in the middle of the pandemic. And there was a period of time where it was just, I literally sat there thinking like, oh, it's all over. Like it's done. You lost everything.
Right.
Everything's gone. You're going to ride unemployment and your savings until it's done. And then you're going to
go home to Pennsylvania.
No, because I don't have any connection with my family. So it was, I found someone who was going to take after my dog. And there were points where I was like, I guess I'll just walk into the river and that'll be the end.
Wow. Yeah.
And I wallowed for a bit. And then I just sort of started writing music about everything I was feeling and stuff. There's a lot of breakup stuff which has been released and other stuff. And then I just was sort of like, you know what? You can do all the right things and still shitty things can happen to you.
Right.
So why don't you just screw it? Just do everything you want to do and just screw it.
Yes. But sometimes you've got to go through that negativity and that down to be able to appreciate the up.
But it's hard, Tim, because it takes a certain kind of person to, look what he went through.
Yeah.
And then, you had to you hit rock bottom, none of it by your own doing, really.
Well, we all have a hand in our stuff.
But I know, you lose your apartment, you lose your job. That, you didn't walk in there to lose your job or lose your, you lose everything and then you got to start all over again. That's not easy.
I'm a spiritual person. Yeah. And I feel, for me anyway, in my life, there have been times where the universe they've done the tap, tap, tap. You need to change this. Tap. Hey, you've got to change this. Hey, change this. And then they will just pick me up and body slam me down. And that sounds like similar to what happened to you, where all of a sudden the universe has just changed it to help you redefine your direction.
Right.
Yeah. And it's not easy and it hurts like hell and it's scary as everything.
It's hard.
Yeah. But good for you.
Yeah,
good
really. Really. And I have to tell you, I love hearing this about you because certain people you can meet and you can tell all of what, their life is on their soul, on their skin or whatever. Mm-hmm. That is not the case with you on stage, which is where I've seen you and just talking to you. I'm like, oh, he's had it really easy, really smooth. And you project, I know, right? This is what you project this confidence and hearing this. I love this. Okay. Because it's what's inside.
I try to put a lot of that in the music itself.
It's where the music comes from.
I came from a blue collar background who had trouble putting food on the table. I'm the first person in my family to go to college.
Huge.
Can we rewind? Where did you grow up?
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Oh, in Lancaster, isn't that a lot of Amish, right?
Yeah.
So the way I like to describe it is there's Lancaster County and Lancaster City's in the center of it. So
Lancaster,
where the Amish is, and they come into the city to sell. And I lived in Center City.
Okay, that's over by Lebanon and
yep,
in that area.
You can get good toffee there, Tim.
Mhm.
The Amish make really
So
good.
while you were growing up in Lancaster, what was that like? I mean, were you a good student? Did you enjoy school? Did you do any music then?
Yes, so I was very involved in, like, always very sort of half in theater and music, half in academics.
Interesting.
I was top 10 in my class. I was that
Uh-huh.
I was that kid. I was the
Uh-huh.
first name basis with the teachers and the principal. Like I
Uh-huh.
was that, and in all of the choirs and all of that.
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I was very, very, very involved.
How were you perceived by your family, the first kid in the family to go to college?
I was definitely seen as, it's weird because my parents were very big on being supportive, but also they were very conscious of not turning me into an arrogant child. And so in some respects it was great, and in some respects I don't think in some areas I got the validation I needed, and I always kind of wondered, like, wait, am I good? Is this,
Right.
because they would pull back because they didn't
would not
have a baby.
Right.
Is it that they would not necessarily say, "Oh, good job," or
right?
And I think that made me who I am today.
Yeah,
Because I'm always seeking the A plus. I'm always seeking the A.
Right.
Yeah.
My mother,
you're pushing. You're always. It makes you push harder, looking for that validation, and yeah.
My mother always used to say, "You don't toot your own horn. Wait for other people to do it." And that was, I know. I think our backgrounds are,
I said that to someone on a
wait for someone else
dating app the other day. Someone said like I complimented them, and they're like, "I know I'm really," like, they said about themselves, "I know I'm really hot." I'm like, that's something.
Oh God.
That's something you should let other people tell you, but okay.
Yes, right, exactly.
No.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. You're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful guest, Jack Tracy.
So you end up, coming out of college, and obviously you're by yourself. You didn't really have the validation from the family, and you came to New York right away. A lot of people do. Wow. Like, what was your first thing? You did have this law degree, though.
So I didn't have the law degree because that comes after college.
Okay.
So I went and worked for a corporate law firm as a paralegal for 2 years. One
in
New
New York.
In New York,
yeah. Wow.
One, to save money. Two, to really make sure I wanted to commit to the commitment that is law school.
Yeah.
If I hated working at the firm, why do it? The firm was challenging, but I knew that it was something I could do. So I went to law school in the area, worked for the big firms. And there was a moment where I was sort of like, the dream, the goal, and you always go for the big thing, the big cherry on top is what I'm always going for. And that is partnership. Why don't I want it?
Right, partner. Everyone wants to be partner, right?
Interesting.
It was the first time in my life where I was on a path, and I looked at what the goal, what the trophy was, and like, why am I not working hard for this? Like, why don't I?
It's not pulling you.
It's not pulling me. And it sort of came a time where I had to walk away. And at the time it felt like, wow, did you really go to law school and do all of this for nothing? And it was certainly not for nothing, because it set me up in a position where I can have jobs that help me finance the art. It's put me in a position where I can negotiate my contracts without any concern. No, I'm very happy I took the path I did, and it gives me, I produce my own work. I'm not out chasing auditions. I'm not trying to be in other people's things. I'm trying to make what I want to do.
And the vibe I get while we're talking about that, not only can you produce your own work, but because you have all of this in your back pocket, this legal background, you would be able, as an entertainment lawyer, really, to pick and choose what productions you want to do, or people, because we all have to constantly think of the bigger picture. Think of some of the most famous people, they are hooked into their own production companies, as I see you building it now. Okay. And the legal thing is totally connected to that. You see how the universe is, Jack? It
works in different ways.
Because see, I'm finding it interesting. There's a couple things I want to kind of rewind on. One is that transition from musical theater to law in college, because those are two almost like polar opposite parts of the brain or thinking.
Right.
But one thing that I see a consistency in with you is you have an innate, to know, no, this isn't really what I want. And a lot of times it seems to be in structured environments like that. Like if you're studying musical theater and they're planning and trying to program you to what they have in mind of cruise ships, and that's not what you're feeling. And can you touch on that? Like what was that? What did you go through at that time? Because that's a major decision to make, a life decision.
That's really, it's an interesting question, because it is thinking about it. It is funny. When you don't see yourself from the outside, so sometimes you don't see things about yourself.
That's why it's good that you're on this show.
Right.
We see.
We'll help you.
Wendy, we see. Okay.
So I think there is, and it's probably from my mother. There's this thing baked into me that, like, she did always say to me as a child, like, just because they're in authority or older than you doesn't mean that they're smarter or know any better.
Right.
And she had a healthy rebellion to authority, and I think that's kind of in me a bit. And it battles with my, like, wanting to be the good boy student who, like, makes everybody proud, and then that butts against the, wait a minute, but I want to do what I want to do. Right. So it is kind of this internal battle. But I think after the pandemic, it really supercharged me into just like, no, I know what I'm doing and I know what I want to do. And no one's going to tell me.
Yeah, I love when that clicks.
Yeah.
But you went through the same thing, I guarantee, when you entered that law firm. Because you can sit in a classroom and you can study as much about the ins and outs and this and that, but until you are on that front line. And what was that like, looking around and observing and seeing just how the things ran, and again, like what you would have to go through to get your name as a partner, but yet it didn't seem worth it to you?
Well, let me be very frank. At the time, so we're talking 2010 to 2015. That's the period I'm in law firms. And extremely, like, bro culture. Like, it is a bunch of bros who play golf, and everyone's connected through their families, and everyone went to Harvard, and everyone went to Yale. And I was the scrappy person who just worked really hard and somehow got a seat at this table.
And a gay man.
And a gay man.
That's huge. Right. An out gay man in this environment.
And there were out gay partners. There were a few, but in my department that I worked in, it was very, I don't know. I did not feel very welcome. And when I saw that it was just this game of ass kissing, because I knew I had the good, and it was funny because in the beginning I was like, I'm the best associate here. I'm the one you want on the team. I'm the one who does everything. But you don't, like, that doesn't matter. What matters is whether I'm, like, pumping you up on the golf course, you know?
Right. They don't appreciate that.
No.
No, because it's a different agenda than the one that you had. And as Tim would agree, that's playing the game.
Right.
You were not going to play that game.
Yeah.
No. Right.
And that is something I'm very bad at. I will admit to that.
Me too.
I have a really hard problem with networking because I can't do it disingenuously. I don't want to talk to someone if the only thought in my mind is I can get something from this person. I don't like it. It makes me feel gross. I'm not good at it. Like, it shows on my face that I don't want to be doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just means I have to put myself out there more and hope genuine things show up.
But you are also very good at seeing the game and sizing it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And making the game work for you. You know, networking, Jack, does not have to necessarily honing in on person to get something. I'm a big networker only in that I enjoy talking to people. I'm insatiable in my curiosity. And Tim too. I don't need to get anything at all out of someone except a good conversation. And I've had the friends say to me, why do you, quote unquote, waste your time with this or that? Or why are you going to this? Nick Lyon always says that to me. Why are you going to this thing or that thing or whatever? And I'm like, because there's going to be new people there I don't know. And I'll have some great conversations. And guess what? Sometimes it's for the sake of that. Nothing more.
But I love to network. Like, I like to bring people together. If somebody says, oh, I'm looking for somebody that could feel that, oh, call this person.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love to do that. I love to bring people together like that and to create. see creations happen. Yeah.
Right. And that's called facilitating.
Right.
And you know what? Just because of where you are right now in your life and you're performing in all these shows, you're a great facilitator. You have dancers, you have directors, you have makeup people you're working with. And like Tim and like you can drop someone's name and say that person would be great for this. And so wow, wonderful to be able to do that.
I literally just did that the other day. There was an independent artist I hadn't met before who reached out to me and was like, where do you get these dancers? And I just sent them my various profiles. I was like, as long as you pay them fairly, enjoy.
Yeah. But you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful, wonderful guest, the one and only Jack Tracy. Yay. Now, your album, you've got a new album coming out, Gold.
I do. Very excited.
Yes. And you've got a video. I think we have a video which is called None Tonight. Is that correct? And that's off of your upcoming, your album is going to be coming out in the fall, right?
Cool.
Yep.
So can you tell us a little bit about None Tonight?
So the album is very eclectic because I love to genre hop. So this is kind of Motown-y, doo-wop-y. It's got a bit of Prince in it as well because everything I do kind of has just a little bit of Prince in it. It's got a little bit of Janet in terms of the harmonies in it. So I thought it was a good representation of the very like top 40 straight down the middle single classic timeless kind of song. So I wanted to do that as the introduction, and it's about a real life experience because I always write from real life in some way. Right. And it was a guy who we went on a great first date and we're texting about the second date and he didn't show up. And a year later, he texted me, hey, I want to reconnect. Sorry, I had gotten back together with my ex.
Sorry.
And I said, well, you're getting None Tonight. And that's
and that's it. That's all she wrote.
Let's take a look at None Tonight by Jack Tracy.
Love the story.
You say you've always had me on your mind. You say after all this time, want to try again. You say you're sorry that you disappeared. You say your ex reappeared. Could have said that then, but I say, ooh, boy, lost your mind. You think that you can hit a rewind. You take nerve, ask to try. I texted you 50-11 times. Now you're back, doing the most. Should have thought about that before you go. So just play. You don't deserve the ex so great. Don't text her. See, I recognize how you weaponize. Puppy dog eyes did not treat me right, but I realize there are plenty of other guys. It's not tonight. You say you came here with apologies. You say you get on your knees for another chance. You say remember what our bodies do. You think that I felt it too. Could've had a romance. I say, ooh boy, lost your mind. You think that you can hit a rewind. You take nerve, ask to try. I texted you 50-11 times. Now you're back, doing the most. Should've thought about that before you go. Just play, don't deserve the ex so great. Maybe you should. Recognize how you recognize those sweet dark eyes. Did not treat me right. I realize there are plenty of other guys. It's not tonight. Recognize how they recognize. Did not treat me right. I realize there are plenty of other guys. What I wanted to do. It's not tonight. I could be the bigger person, but don't want us. Baby boy, you crazy if you think I'm gonna return a text, call, a letter. I'll do better. I recognize how you weaponize. I think I'll do better. Did not treat me right, but I realize
Yes, yes, and yes.
You see DJ Chauncey in there.
Yeah,
Yes, our
we said
producer,
Amazing.
Chauncey Dandridge. He was the DJ at Stonewall, which he is regularly.
Forever.
I
And you know what?
love this video.
I love the video, and you know what it brought to mind? You know, you are, and I have to say this here, you're such an activist, and I want to get that more out about you, because I really got to know Jack Tracy when we did a show at Stonewall called Abort the Court to raise money for the organizations that are going to help people cross into other states when they need to. It's something I've become very aware of. There are philanthropic people that are giving tons of money to, and this is the fight back, right, to the anti-abortion thing. And kudos to you. You're a gay man, and you could have said, well, you know, yeah, this abortion thing's messed up, but it really doesn't have anything to do with me, because I can tell you a lot of people feel that way.
I'm sure they do, and they're very much mistaken.
Right.
Because, listen, you should have empathy as a human being generally, and whether it has anything to do with you or not, you should be helping. But if you are just entirely self-interested, understand that the Supreme Court precedent that they did away with was the constitutional right to privacy. The other things that are in his concurrence, Justice Thomas specifically said we'd like to revisit are gay marriage, anti-sodomy laws. All of those come from that case law. And the second they get back up there, don't be surprised.
Right.
Yep, absolutely. Well, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your host, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, our amazing, wonderful guest, Jack Tracy. So now you have a residency both at Stonewall and Icon, is it?
Yes, and a brand new one at Starr Bar in Brooklyn.
Oh, cool. That's what I meant. You're like blessing it all over the place.
You're multi-burrowing.
I like that. Multi-burrowing. I like that, Tim.
Right, I like that.
I love that. So, okay. So again, you kind of rediscovered yourself and found your passion for music and songwriting, which again, that is an art all its own, is the ability to take your life experiences and express it through music.
Absolutely.
That's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful therapy for one thing.
But you also,
you found that during you found that during the pandemic, and now that we're able to get out, how does that feel to be on these stages regularly?
So, I mean, it feels incredible. I knew that I had to manifest my own opportunities, because I think before the pandemic, I was just chasing a lot of, you know, will you please put me in your show? Chasing drag queens. Like, can I just drop in and do a thing? Right. And that's hit or miss. It depends if they feel like it, if they like you. Sometimes if you do certain things for them that I'm not willing to do for for a spot. Yeah. And I was just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm a business person. Let me just reach out to these bars and find the people who you know, who I can pitch them something, pitch them an evening. And some of them work, some of them don't. I had some other ones that, you know, we tried and didn't really work. And it's really just about, you know, okay, well, that didn't work. So what's different? Do this. And I think I've really come up with a format that places really like. And I'm really starting to make traction out of just the gay community, and I'll try to get in these mainstream places.
And you understand that you need to do that as well. You do have a political agenda, and that it's very important to get that out there in that way.
Yeah. It's important to me. Whatever platform I have at this point, a very small one, but whatever platform you have,
you created it.
There's a piece of it that you owe to making sure the society that allowed you to succeed because of how it was set up and how it exists, to give back to it and make sure it's still around. Because I think we're in a big threat from that right now with the next election, of whether the country as you see it is going to be the same going forward, and to fix it in the ways that it's deficient. So I try to at least take a little piece of what I do and devote it to that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But now, so where did your social awareness come from, would you say?
So I grew up in a very diverse public high school or public school system. You know, it was very strange for me, and I want to speak very carefully because if you don't know me, I don't know how this will be interpreted. Because I know what I look like, so it's hard for me to describe this. So I grew up in a place where, you know, our best friends were a Black family down the street. They were like the little girl there was our friend that we played with. We had diversity fairs where people potlucked in the foods that they did. You know, my brother was obsessed with
that's how life should be.
Yeah, right. That's how I thought the world.
You thought everything would be there, right?
So when I went to Penn State, I remember calling my mom like a week after. She said, well, you know, how you doing? How's the week? I'm like, good. Where are all the Black people? Like, it's all white people. Where's everybody else? Are they keeping them somewhere? Like, where are they? And then you get into the world of corporate law, and it was just the same thing. And it was funny because it's not like I didn't, on some level, know it, but it was weird to suddenly sort of be out of that, you know. And I'll say this: I'm sure there were problems where I grew up that I was not privy to because I was not personally affected by them. So I'm not trying to say that I lived in the sunniest place. I'm sure there were
there was diversity,
but there was
in
diversity
your world,
and inclusion, and everybody kind of, you know, worked together.
But you said you were working class, more or less. Right. That's, I think what Jack is talking about very much reflects, you know, working class backgrounds where people come together. It's about those potlucks, community, and different backgrounds.
And do you remember a few years ago where there was that controversy over certain New York buildings that they were like high-priced residential buildings, and then they would allow lower-income people.
It's still going on with developers,
but they created what was then termed the poor door, which was the separate door those people had to go through.
Yeah, Tim.
When that started, I think that was like,
it must have hit a chord with you. And
I don't like this. I started having a lot of arguments with the friends that at the time I was in like the corporate law environment, and having a lot of arguments about that. And that's really, I think that was really the first moment where I was like, oh, I'm not like these people.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I'm going to generalize. Most of the people in corporate law don't come from your background. They don't.
Well, in corporate, period.
Yeah, right. How about in corporate? But corporate law is just, it's really what the white collar, golf, all the things that you described. So they don't have that awareness, and they cannot wrap their head around it in the same way you couldn't wrap your head around what was going on at Penn State.
Right.
Like, why is it so white? You know, why is it this? You know?
Yeah.
Now, again, you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our wonderful and amazing guest, Jack Tracy.
So I want to talk to Jack about his so this is one of the things I unearthed about Jack, his OnlyFans page and all that. And but what was behind it was really interesting to me.
Right. So because I think people have a certain idea when they see someone has an OnlyFans.
Yeah, I did.
Let me be clear.
Yeah.
And without shame, because if you do this, good for
you.
I personally do not do pornography or full frontal or that sort of stuff. It's just not part of what I'm doing today. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds? And I have no judgment on that at all. So it's not from a matter of judgment. It's just a matter of what I'm focused on. And but I portray a lot of sexuality and adult themes in most of my works, from my music videos to my music to my series to my movies. And YouTube started, you know, demonetizing, shadow banning, blocking all of that stuff. So it was like, okay, do I edit myself to still be able to reach people, or do I find another way around? And so the other way around was things that have adult themes have an edited version that go on YouTube. And then if you're a fan and you'd like to see the whole thing, you can join the OnlyFans.
Cool. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Well, how can people find you? They're firstly, they can come and see you at Stonewall and at Icon.
Right. And we are doing another abortion rights fundraiser on the 24th. So we'll see all of my dates. Everything's on my Instagram. That's the main hub. It's Jack Tracy Official, TRACY, no E in the name.
And you've got your appearance coming up for, what is it, Jersey Pride, but what's the name of it exactly? Thank you. Corgi. I have to think of a corgi.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We so appreciate you, Jack. Thank you for coming on. Yay.
Thank you.
Okay, now for everybody watching, I just want to tell you that's not the end of the show.
No.
We're working with UBC TV, and we're on Gloot TV, and they're offering video on demand, which is like our show, our regular show that we can talk as long as we want to, but also on live programming, and that has to be 45 minutes. So if we're going to stop from here on out, we'll stop at 45 minutes. So, and then we'll have what we call the post show. So now we'll get to talking, and we'll talk a little bit more about, because we didn't even get to talk about the podcasts and feature film and all that. And
we'll call it the after party.
Now the
after party. Okay, so yeah, let's get going.
This is the after party. So Jack, I have to tell you, I am so impressed with you. I'm so proud of you for following your authenticity.
Yeah.
You're coming into your own, you're finding your way, your path. And also you're somebody that I really want to bring into my fold too, like my network of, you've got the mindset, you've got the talent, you've got
the right stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You're the complete package.
Thank you.
And
so I want to also pick up now, we were talking about OnlyFans, and you were definitely held back by YouTube. What does OnlyFans really allow you to do? And is it for you? I know you are trying to normalize gay sex in the media. How does OnlyFans allow you to do that?
Right. So, I think it's getting better. Streaming networks are certainly going in this direction. We have some, Lil Nas X is really paving the way on the music scene. But it's just a matter of like, if you can see, simulated sex scenes in a general, PG-13 rated movie or an R-rated, you can go to the theater and see that between straight people, and it's like just part of the story. Like, why can't you?
Right.
Why can't?
Right.
What's different?
Right.
So if I've got a song that's about sex, there's going to be sexy things in it. If there's a song about love, there's probably intimacy there. And it's just a matter of like, and I did this web series called History, and that, was basically about dating in New York City, and how are you going to do that without sexual escapades? Like, like I actually just saw a TV show the other day where it was from the 90s, but where they do the thing where the two people start kissing and then the camera goes up here and they which is like no more of that. No more of that.
Okay.
Right.
Oh my God.
And then it's them like the next morning, like in the sheets or whatever.
We're supposed to imagine everything.
No, there was one video I was watching, I can't think of what song it was, where but it would cut to, or it would blank it out, and it would say, for explicit, or to go to your OnlyFans to see the.
Oh yeah, that's the one I watched.
Which one was that one?
There's a couple of them.
Yeah,
so
wasn't that
Daddy Made It? One
that
of
was
them.
Daddy Made It.
Overdrive,
Yeah, Daddy Made It.
And Its Time is really.
Oh, It's Time. That's the one. Yeah, that I was watching.
Yeah, that's
hot.
Very explicit.
I like that. That's what I loved about it.
So in order to see those, and we have to subscribe to to OnlyFans.
Yep,
So
for
let's
now,
talk about that. Is a brilliant business decision on your part. That's more money than you can make on YouTube, and then some.
I made more money in 2 months than I made in 3 years on YouTube.
Right. And that's a good point that Jack is bringing up. From a business sense, it makes sense.
Right. And right now, for me, it's a lot of like, I'm still not like making money as an artist. I would love to get where I am, but it's about diversifying your revenue streams. You've got corporate sponsor for the podcast, corporate sponsor for the events, the streaming stuff, the OnlyFans stuff. That it's just right now, it's really just doing everything I can to have as many irons in the fire until
and you do and you're not I would not say that there's a lot of people that are like they're here, they're there, they're everywhere, and you want to say you just need to focus some of this energy. You are actually making it happen in all those areas, and that's kudos to you, Jack, because you have to have a skill set. Maybe Tim, it's the fact that he has the law and the arts.
I think that's a great combination.
What is that? Left brain, right brain? Are you left brain, right brain? Yeah. Our friend Francisco has that, right? Left
because brain. in law, there is no artistic creativity.
Right.
In law, it is the law. Right. It is black and white. There's no room for any flexibility there. And then you've got the art on the other side, which is all flexibility. It's all let's create. Let's do something new. Let's try this. Let's try that. Let's do this. You know what I mean? They're just almost polar opposites. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely a fan of structure, and I think the skill that influences both at its core, honestly, is having a passion and aptitude for learning. There is
curiosity,
and you know, I produce all of that music myself. I record it in my apartment.
Awesome.
I write everything. I do
that's impressive.
videos. It's just a matter of like, and I didn't know how to do it. I didn't go to school for any of it.
Yeah.
I just found videos on YouTube to teach me, and trial and error. And
so wait, you went to YouTube to? I've watched those how-to. You learned how to do those videos from the how-to videos, and I mean that's amazing,
goodness.
Right?
Yeah.
People study advertising, they get communications degree to learn, because when we were watching Jack's video, I'm like, how did you know how to do the storyboard, right? You have a story here. Yeah, amazing, really.
Yeah, you just when I started this, and it's hard for me to go back and look at like the old stuff because it's like, oh God, I wouldn't do it this way anymore. But I refuse to let perfect be the enemy of good. And you know, you got to start somewhere. So
Right.
But that will happen throughout your entire career.
Absolutely.
You'll always look back like last year going, oh my God, I should have done this. I should have done, you know what I mean? But just do what you do right now and move on and do what you do in the future then.
Right. And you obviously are not afraid to take risks. And that's, you know, you'll put yours for somebody, as you said, who lost all their confidence when they were in college, whatever is going on with you now, when you're out on that stage, you know, you're taking those risks. Yeah. And the work you're creating, you're taking those risks, Jack. Yeah. It's great.
One of the things that I did right before the pandemic, before I really like coming out of it, really just stepped forward and claimed my confidence was when I started performing again, I realized how badly inside I had this desire for like the audience to like me, and it gave me this
they like me, they really like me.
And I was like, this is inhibiting me because I'm not just in the moment, I'm not just doing it. So I actually started doing stand-up comedy. Because I knew
background, that's smart to do.
Because I knew I wouldn't be good at it at first, and I would, because no one's like knocks it out of the park the first time. So it was like, okay, step up there and fail and feel it.
Right.
And understand that this is a survivable event. You don't need to go home and cry about it, and you don't need to worry about it. And after doing that a few times, now like throw me a mic, I'll wing it. Like I don't.
You're emceeing these fundraisers. You've got to be. That's a skill set you have. You have to have.
And I knew I needed it, so I gave myself the opportunity to go and you know get down.
But that's a very evolved mentality to be able to because so many people are afraid of failure that they won't even try it. And you have to fail to learn how to do it. You know, that's just part of the process, you know?
Oh, we have comments. We love the comments.
Well, Sabine, our dear friend Sabine has been commenting throughout the entire show.
Great guest.
None Tonight. She loved None Tonight. Screenshot here, just a second.
She said you have a really lovely smile.
Yes, and she said you should tour Sweden and Netherlands.
Book me, I'll be there.
There you go.
And she goes, "Wow, I wish I were that tech minded."
And Hannah Q, thank you for tuning in. Wow, I wish I was that tech-minded. Hannah is a wonderful choreographer. She's got a big show coming up at Abrams Artists here in New York City, as well as she's from Pennsylvania in Milford. We work all together out there. I'm going to be the host of her next show there, but she's brilliant. And yes, Hannah, I wish I were that tech-minded also. It's the only thing I'm missing. Otherwise, I'd be perfect.
She's this close.
I was so close, Jim. Close to the bar.
So, Jack, is there something that you would like to share with people? Like something you've shared a lot, dropped a lot of wisdom, and
really
being so young, you've experienced so much.
Well, I look a lot younger than I am. This is 40.
Okay.
No, but I'm saying hello, 60.
Young. Hello.
That's young. 40's young. You're a baby. You're just a baby.
I'm out here performing with these 22-year-old dancers, and there's one.
Right.
There's one from Lancaster, and we said we did the math the other day. I'm like, oh God, you could be my prom baby.
The illegitimate prom baby, right?
You could have been.
Fucking great.
Crazy, right?
Anyway, Well, I'll leave. Let's see. I'll leave a little. What wisdom can I come up with on the fly? If not to bring him into this, if a self-involved narcissistic megalomaniac can become president of the United States, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
You can do whatever you want.
There you go.
It doesn't matter. Anybody who says no, go out and do it anyway, and make them regret saying no. Like, just do it. Just, you got one life. Just do it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And I will also leave with a plug that I really want to get to, which is I am taking a very big risk, and I'm doing my first tour level concert at City Winery on October 2nd.
Oh, I love City Winery. Oh, good.
160 seat capacity. We are doing a 90-minute show as if it were Madison Square Garden. The dancers, the production. We're doing the entirety of Gold to celebrate the release and a few other songs. So I hope it should be up on City Winery soon, but you can follow me on Instagram to look out for tickets and come see me. This is the big one.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I got to mark it on my calendar. I definitely want to come.
Same here.
Sunday, October 2nd, 7:30 p.m. Dinner and drinks, and it's a dinner show. It's the whole thing.
October 2nd. And what do you know what time that is?
7:30 p.m.
Oh, 7:30. Okay.
Be there or be square. I just memorized it. It'll go on the master calendar.
If I am in town, which I think I am, I will be there.
Awesome.
Cool.
Definitely. Because I am totally enamored and in admiration of you. You're right on track. You're doing what you're supposed to do in this life right now, and you can feel that.
It feels right.
You're finding your path
closer than they used to be.
Yes.
Close.
Love it.
And again, that means you're on the right path. You're on your path. And I'm very proud of you for that. That's wonderful.
You know what I say? So close you could taste it.
But again, we've got a wonderful network of friends and just incredibly talented people. And I would like to include you in that. But I'm very, very impressed with you. And again, we're always doing shows and Pride events and all of that. So
I'm there.
Yeah.
You got a barn, you got costumes. Let's put on a show. Right. That is us. Right. It's all possible.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning into If These Walls Could Talk with your host, Tym Moss, Wendy Stuart, and our wonderful and incredible guest, the Mr. Jack Tracy.
Yay!
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.